These are little breadcrumbs that we use with smart money to tell us like, hey, big players are in the market, right? Because big players don't just include the banks, right? We have hedge funds who are managing millions, if not billions of dollars, right? So we have firms that are also managing a lot of money, you know what I'm saying? So when we talk about institutions, we're talking about them collectively because it just means that they're the whales in the market. They're the ones who have the power to move price from point A to point B. And in this example, as I zoom in, right, when price was down here and exploded in this way, before it exploded this in this fashion, it did something first. And if you pay attention to this sell candle here, right, I know my color's a little bit different. My blue candles equal buy candles, they're not green, and my black candles equal sell candles, which are not red, right? So just understand that my black are sell candles and my blue are buy candles. And we can see down here that we have price selling first before it bought. Now pay attention, just to where price happens to come back down into before it end up buying again. Okay, not just in this instance, it happens again and again and again. Okay, a recent area here is that we have an area where price again sold before it bought here as well. And because we realize that the banks or those who control the market, they must sell before they buy. And when they're doing this, they're going to bring price back down to where they did that in the first place. We could now position ourselves with the banks to get in with the banks to then try to catch the wave higher. And this goes back to what I mentioned earlier about liquidity, about money. Why do we know that we're trying to buy down here at these areas? It's because there's liquidity to the top. There's monies. And a quick example of what monies are, anything that is equal highs, there's equal lows. At these areas. It's because there's liquidity. Bring price back down to where the buy. Don't believe me? As we continue to play this out, you get to see just how meticulous this can be. As price continues to move down, we see now we've entered inside of our zone, and lo and behold, the price begins to go higher and higher and higher. And then at this point here, target is acquired, right? We expect it to go lower to where they also sold to buy what they bought from last time. And as soon as they got there, price exploded. Oops. Now, what this may look like as far as, you know, when you're entering the market, and something that you're going to learn a lot from me too is about risk management, right? Your risk to reward, your R&R. And we utilize this tool right here, which is the long position. And as we map out, you know, our area, let's just kind of clean some of this stuff up just a tad bit. I'm going to mark out that sell candle that we had our interest on, which is right here. So this is our point of reference. And if we're planning a trade to get into the market with the banks, because we understand that the banks got into this candle because before, like I explained, they sold before they bought. And they bought leaving liquidity, lots of money above, right? So we understand that this is our plan of attack. We're trying to attack this candlestick here, or this candlestick, right? This was our first one. And as soon as it came down there, we had the reaction that we wanted, and our TP, or our ultimate goal, would be the liquidity that was sitting above, that we could, you know, map out right here, right? All this money that was sitting, these nice equal highs. Now, what I want you to pay attention to, though, is the fact that we have the R&R, right? The risk to reward. We're risking, 1% of our account per trade, maybe 2%, maybe 3%. I really don't want to go any higher than 3% because, now we're risking a lot more than of our account. But if you were to just risk 1% of your account and we're aiming for this target here, we're looking at a 10% gain, right? It might have taken a few days, maybe, maybe a day or two, but if you had to wait 2 days to make 10% of your account, drop a 1 in the chat if you would literally wait that long, I know I would, right? And the good thing about this is that we are exploiting a lot of the stuff that everybody learns, because the banks who control the market understands that everyone knows about support and resistance. Everyone knows about trend lines, et cetera, but we use that to our advantage with smart money because we understand that they exploit what everyone knows. There's a good saying that always goes that, if everyone is going to the right, you might want to be wise and look to the left because, the masses more often than not have it wrong. A good thing I learned about when I was trading the stock market is that if you see, a stock is on the news like MSNBC or something like that, and they're saying, oh yeah, buy Apple now, the price is surging. You are too late. You are too late. It's kind of the same thing in the market. If everyone is thinking sell at a specific point, a resistance level or trend line, whatever the case is, if everyone is thinking that, you might want to do the opposite. Because as you noticed with this little resistance, our liquidity, if you will, we had price come back up there, gave some signs of selling, but it just ended up going higher, right? But we were fortunate enough to get an entry down here because we understood what the market was hunting for, what the market was doing, how we positioned ourselves with a very small stop loss, about 18 pips. You will find out in my classes, we get low as 5 pips, 3 pips, you know what I'm saying? We obviously, we rarely go above 20 pip stop losses, and because we have such small stop losses, we have such a higher risk to reward, It's important to understand too that, we are not the banks ourselves. All we can do is try to identify, points of interest in which the market could come back down to where we expect the banks to reload on. And of course, we're going to get wrong. We're going to have things wrong. But what's important is that we are always using risk management. So even if we are wrong, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to cry about a 1% loss. But if I didn't practice risk management and had a 10% loss, 20% loss, then I'm definitely beating my head, right? I'm seeing a lot of people asking about pips. Another thing that you learn is that I don't care about pips. I think percentage outweighs pips. Because you can make 1,000 pips on a trade, but what does that equate to your account growth? How much did you risk to get that 1,000 pips? Right? In this move right here, we made 185 pips. That's fine and dandy. But to make that 185 pips, how much did we risk? What percent growth did we get in our account from that? Right? In this situation, we made 10% growth on our account based off of this middle number right here. And again, you will learn all about this stuff inside of our classes and our sessions, right? About what a pip is. If you don't know what that is, that's okay. But understand that we deal in percentage growth. That's what it's all about. All right. And honestly, with us being patient and waiting for moves like this to happen, I mean, we reap the reward of having price explode in our favor, which, as you can see, right, at the very peak of its buy, this movement, this measly little 10% grew to about 39-40%, right? So with 1% risk, we're able to net 40% on our trade. Pay attention as well when price was consolidating right here, what it was leaving behind, right? Again, liquidity, some more equal highs. What did price do? It sold before it ended up buying. And where did it sell down to the last time it sold from? right? As you can see, this same area that got us into the trade the first place, right, came right back down into that area, mitigated, and then went higher, right? So again, you're gonna learn about all of these concepts, all of these analysis and understanding in the market in my classes. I have a saying that I trade BNT, which means butt naked trading. As you can see, I have no indicators in my chart. I have no EMAs, RSIs, none of that stuff. I trade nakedly, and you will find out that you can make a lot of percent and growth on your account just based off of looking at the market naked. What I love about our platform and Elevate is that realize a lot of these stuff here, apply an indicator, shout out my boy John with the cloud, and others who use other instruments, right? You can utilize those things in tie with naked trading and that understanding of how the market is moving to make immense gains, right? Because of all the informations you have with the indicator or whatever you want to use, right? But myself and how I teach, it's straight BNT, right? I'm gonna write that down if you need to, but it's always BNT, it's naked first, and then if anything, if we need added confluence, we'll add it their fourth. Okay, so I don't want to give too much, take up more time. I know we're on a pretty tight ship here. This is a quick, brief introduction to myself and how I teach with Smart Money. I hope you guys enjoyed this brief little demo. I really can't wait to see all of you guys in our sessions for our launch, right? With that being said, man, I appreciate this. It's Super K. I'm gonna hit it right back to John. Take it away, my friend, and I'll see you guys soon.
Sheesh. Well done, Curve. Well done, Ash. And if you can hear me, drop an A, a K in the chat box, just so you can give Curve back some love. The stuff that they taught it's so overlooked. And for myself, I want to finish up my story that I shared. I shared that prior to the information I was able to learn, I was a fitness entrepreneur. I want you to think about that, because I was a kid in school that actually wasn't that great at math. I actually didn't have a ton of patience, and I technically was terrible with economics. And all 6 years I went to college and achieved a business degree. And you know what? They never talked about trading. They never explained it. They never walked us through how money actually works. And so when I came across this information, I instantly wanted to learn everything that was under the sun. And what you'll find at Elevate is we don't waste your time with fluff and stuff and things that you can go Google on the internet or pick up in a book and totally understand it. Folks, if it were that simple, then everybody would be a successful trader. So you really want to think about, why aren't more people talking about trading? If it were so simple, why aren't more people winning? See, the masses seem to learn the information and they all learn it the same way. The way we teach at Elevate is we focus on basic principles and combination of bank trading concepts. And so I loved the fact that Curve brought up the banks, because the banks are the bigger players. People like you and I and any individual that takes on the knowledge and tries to apply it, they call us retail traders. So oftentimes I meet people and they say, you know what, I can't I lose a trade because my friend trades? No, not unless you're moving $1 trillion+ in a trading account. You do not have control of the market. You can't move the market. Just because you bought doesn't mean I can't buy a currency or short a currency and so on. I love that we brought to you the very beginning basis. But folks, today is not about you understanding it all. Today is just to get your feet on the concepts of what you're already doing, and how is it that Elevate so different than everything else? Well, good. Now I know that you're on the rack, because we're going to teach the concepts in the right order without all the fluff and all the extra stuff. So to conclude my story from zero information to turning 3 figures into eventually 6 and 7 figures in a very short amount of time. And I don't say that to boast or brag. I really don't. I say it so that you can understand, as long as you don't give up on yourself, you too will be a successful trader. Learning how to risk only 1 to 3% of your capital, seeking to always gain 3% or greater. I played an American sport called baseball, and it's crazy the way they pay in that sport. A lot of players make millions, multi-millions, and close to billions in that industry of American baseball. But no one really focuses on what is it that they're actually good at. What they're good at is 3 out of 10 times they make a connection on a ball. That's it. 3 out of 10 times. If they are wrong or miss the ball or strike out or foul out, just don't make a connection, guess what that means? They miss times. So how is it that they're still a millionaire? If you can approach trading the same way, applying it differently, plugged into membership and our community, we're to win here at Elevate. We're all out for everyone to elevate. And I think the favorite thing that I always talk about trading is we don't have to compete with each other. There's 6.6 trillion per day. Plenty for us all. Kumo, or in Japanese that means cloud. The thing I love about the things that Curvin talks about, that Ashley talks about, and all of our phenomenal educators, and you simply layer this onto your chart, and you too will be able to what to get in, where to get out, and what's the trend. And I'll show you just like the price was misbehaving, is what I like to say, and it was going up and down and all the way around, and people always want to know, this were the screen that I was at, Great Britain versus the US dollar. On every hour, case by case, if this is what I was looking at, where do I get in? What's the trend here? Is this thing going up? Is this thing going down? Glad you asked. You see this, the Kumo, moment price explode, I only want to look for short positions or selling position. But if I can combine what I know with what Curvin knows, that's one of my other things that I truly think just doesn't receive enough credit, is at a lot of education platforms, quite frankly, across the world, is they all teach really good information. But the not so good news is, who do you watch? What makes that educator better than the next educator? Or, hey, he just said to sell this and she just said, how do I know there's some internal conflict amongst the educators. See, at Elevate, we synchronize our approach to the market because we all teach bank trading concepts. We all actually have the same eye on the market because of the way we think and view them. So with that being said, I can take what Kervin just talked about, such as the institutional is the last up before down, and where the bank put their positions and identify it, and I layer the identification in my cloud system because the cloud will tell me where price needs to come back to be balanced on the books. So at Elevate, you want to watch one or two educators at a time and then transition to additional educators because they layer confluence on lessons. We all feed each other's methodology, if you will, to the market. And that's very important. If you've ever had an experience at any other platform, it's just unheard of. We all actually trade together. We're all full-time traders. And before this, only a few of us had actual experience. Everyone else was, we did it the hard way. There wasn't any mentorship. There wasn't a community, and there wasn't any guidance. And what we've done at Elevate is we said, we know what people need to experience in order to be successful. And that's create a culture, create an environment of winning, of sharpening each other, of helping each other expedite this learning curve. Because truthfully, it should take you anywhere from 2 to 4 years to be a successful trader. What we do at Elevate is we cut the time down. How about 3, 6, 12, or even 18 months for crying out loud successful? But we don't stop there. Make sure you tune in next Wednesday at 2 p.m. because one of our master traders, he's going to explain 2 tools that we have that can do anywhere from 75 upwards of 95% of the analysis and work for you. So what I'm showing you is the manual way to do it, but we actually have tools and resources that do a lot of the analyzing and actual hard work when it comes trading and managing trades for you. So that part is phenomenal. We have semi-automated and fully automated, customizable, proprietary tools and resources that you'll only be able to get your hands on through being an Elevate student. So I got a short position on my eye here with the Great Britain versus the US dollar. I'm going to pay attention for only short positions because we're underneath the cloud here. All I want you to understand is the cloud that the direction of trend. So let's just hit that forward button, and I want you to see something. Speed it up. Pause. Because we're underneath this portion, which bulls came in or buyers came in, I ignored wasting my time getting on the wrong side of the market because we were under the Kuma cloud. Now, there are a few more components that will filter quite a bit of the noise. So don't sit and be frustrated and feel like, oh my gosh, I still don't get it. I'm so confused. What is he talking about? I think he's actually speaking Japanese instead of English right now. Trust me, I get it. We too started the same way. I was so frustrated and no one was there for my questions and my concerns. Thank goodness we have Elevate. So underneath the cloud, I only look for short positions. When I see the future, which the cloud is 26 periods, and in this example, 26 hours ahead, I see the trend. Okay, so anything right side of that candlestick is the future. This lets me know just on this part of the component, I can stay in a short position. So I'm going to hold that. I'm going to see what happens. Let's let it play out. And boom. I want to stop right there. And I want to invite you into the cloud system. Exactly. Curve spoke about something that the banks leave breadcrumbs. They leave clues. This, friends, was a clue. The equal lows here, although the market shot way up there, it got way up there, okay, way up here, all the way from here, but we notice an equal low and an equal low. Trust me, you're not going to know everything I'm talking about. You got to come to class to understand it. But these equal lows are very important. They are muy importante. Which, by the way, if you are bilingual, especially Hispanic and Spanish, guess what? Our Spanish educators will meet you tomorrow. Write this down. The Spanish educators of Elevate, they will meet you tomorrow. What, you want to hear my Spanish? Mañana, see? Tomorrow, Thursday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, you get the Spanish version of education that we offer at Elevate. So we don't leave anyone out. We have multiple languages. We've got French releasing soon. We're working on our Czech and Italian educators as well. But when we launch, we're launching with Spanish, English, and French, my friends. We. That was so corny, but I hope you're following along with me here. This zone was important, and what I want to point out is this. I want to point this out. That area was where I would have gotten into my short. And because I knew the price had to get down to that area, let's go into what Curve was talking about, which is risk management. I would have taken that short position down to that zone because of what I've been able to learn and know. I would have put the stop on edge, and I would have been able to grow my trading account by risking 1% to make almost 6%, about 5.5%. Are you with me there? Are you with me? Are you smelling what I am cooking here? I want to make sure you're with me. If you're with me, type a Y for yes in that chat box, because this part here is very important. If you can understand that the cloud lets you know where the trend is going, and you have confidence to sustain the right side of the trend, you don't trade against it because the trend is your friend. So just based on that, risking 1%, or you can say 17 pips points in the market. And what pips and points are actually breaks it down in the basics, but I'll give you a flyby on the explanation. What we're looking at here is apparently the Great Britain pound was a little bit weaker than the dollar by almost 40 cents. The numbers on the right-hand side here. You don't need to be good at math. You don't need to know that information. All you need to be great at is being a super student, cheating off the smart kids, your Elevate educators, that actually know and clearly understand this information, because we also trade with you folks. We also give you trades that we're looking at taking ourselves, or maybe we've already taken those trades and we're in those trades along with you, and we can help guide you to not jump in earlier, get in late, or stay in too long, and so on. We truly do our very best to be in the seat in the classroom with you. We don't just talk about trading, we actually live off of our trading. 99% of our educators at Elevate's livelihood is based off of us trading our own money and or managing capital for our own benefit, right? So when we teach it out of the kindness of our heart, folks, if you can risk 1% to gain 5%, which, by the way, John, how long did this take? How long did you wait for that trade? If you can grow your account in less than 72 hours, 5%, if you can do that, would that be of value? See, the question isn't, is trading for me? The question is, what is it that you want? What is it that you need to elevate in your life when it comes to finances? I love the fact that trading allows us to trade from a smartphone, from a desktop, or a laptop, and you don't have to be anywhere except for where there's internet, folks. You can be on your private plane. You can be in your car. You can be at your kid's soccer practice. It doesn't matter. You can trade anywhere a smart device can connect to the internet. Very wild, right? And in closure, I want to make one clear thing here. Let's say we had, for example, a $500 trading account, and you were able to consistently get 3% per day on your trading account, just like Curve spoke of. Folks, this is an example. This is not a guarantee of income, and past performance is not indicative to future results. My performance, our educators' performance, your friends' results does not guarantee you those same results. Very important you understand that, because oftentimes I hear people say, oh, I can't share that with a friend because I don't have the results. Well, you're not teaching them. You're not the teacher, right? All you need to be great at is understanding that you're already trading, Forex is real, and the Elevate educators are going to do their very best to teach you the things that they know and expedite the learning curve with our tools and resources. What you have in front of you is 30 trading days. That $500 in my own trading account became $1,100. I'm going to drop down in 90 trading days. $500 became almost $7,000. And then lastly, in 120 days, $16,000. Why did I show you that? Because a lot of people, they get overzealous, if you will, when it comes to trading. They get frustrated. They don't make $1 million overnight. Folks, we're not guaranteeing you're going to make anything. What we're going to guarantee you is we're going to do our best to teach and reiterate the skills in a timely fashion so you can be successful. We have quizzes, we give homework so that we can make sure that you're actually involved with the application in which what we teach. If you have a different way that you can fund any dollar amount, and you can multiply it any percentage under your control, please sign me up, because I absolutely want to know a way that I can grow any amount of money under my control, 24 hours a day, 5 days a week, because that's what we do here at Elevate. We teach you how to do that. And on average, if you can average just a 5% growth, I showed you on a trade. If you can learn how to do that weekly, that's going to be saving your money in the bank and allowing the banks to trade it for you. So we will make our mark in the industry, not from being all talk, not from being flashy at Elevate. No, by real education and knowledge. And not just sometimes, but always elevating our vision and our students' legacy. We put our students first by consistently delivering the best educators and the best technology, period. And we will be able to show you better than we can tell you, because we're just different. So in closure, next Wednesday, you get to hear this again, but there's a different set of educators. There's a different lesson next Wednesday, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. But for tomorrow, the educators will be the Spanish educators. And I want to make sure that you understand we are serious about passing on this knowledge of wealth to the masses. At Elevate, we always put you first. We always put our students first. And I want to make sure that you see we're all about that. So here is what you can expect tomorrow. The Spanish educators, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. Take a screenshot of this, make a note of, for anyone that speaks Spanish, we have some of the best educators in that market. And stay tuned for next Wednesday, as we will give you part 2 with a different set of educators, a different methodology, and explanation on some of our tools and resources. I will see you tomorrow in Spanish, but I'm not doing the talking. And next Wednesday as well, make a note of April the 18th. your life will have the
I still didn't find out
opportunity
whether we
to
need to use
elevate.
it for the thing.
Thank you for your time. Have an amazing rest of your day.
Okay, hallelujah. Thank you.
And Bishop still teaching.
I gotta end this screen.
What time is it? 3. So basically 2 hours. I
So,
mean, an hour.
if you like what you saw, hit me up on Facebook, message me on Twitter, message me on YouTube. I will send you a link so you can get involved. Okay? Have a blessed day. Let's elevate.